This is the so-called altitude correction sensor on the Porsche 944. All it does is connect those two little pins together, short those two pins together when the sensor gets above 3,300 feet, or technically 1,000 meters. The problem is there's no way to test at both, right? You can test if it's bad at sea level, you can test if it's bad, up in altitudes, but you can't test if it's really going to switch between the two. So, for the first time ever that I know of, I present you the first altitude correction sensor test system, or something like that. It uses very high precision instrumentation, which I will show you now. First, it uses a Mighty Vac. Second, it uses this pickle jar. I put a little hose fitting on the lid of the pickles. I used Vlasic because I didn't want to throw out the Clausens, which are much better. Then, in addition to that stuff, I made this simple little battery light doohickey, which is nothing more than an LED, little resistor in there, but an LED hooked up to a 9-volt battery, 2 terminals that'll plug into that sensor. And the idea is when these two terminals touch each other or have continuity, the light goes on. See that? So when you plug this thing into the sensor, we're at sea level right now, so this thing should not go on. There we go. It's not on. This is what we would expect at sea level. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the whole thing in to our pickle jar, like this. Put the little light there, then put the top on. That fitting is sealed with some silicone. Now, when you're, and I'll put it on its side so you can see everything in there better. When you're at altitude, the air pressure goes down. And at 3,300 feet, it goes down about 1.5 psi. So it's about 13.1, 13.2 psi at 3,300 feet. In inches of mercury, 3,300 feet is about 3.1 inches of mercury. So in theory, if we pull a vacuum in this jar and get to 3.1 inches of mercury, that light should go on, because inside that little jar, we should have about the same amount of air pressure as you do at 3,300 feet of elevation. So let's do that. We're getting pretty close, not quite there yet. Getting closer. And there it is. And if I can see it, it is almost exactly at 3.1 inches of mercury. Now we're back down to sea level. And there's 3,300 feet. But there you go. That is the only test I know of to confirm these things actually work, short of driving up and down the mountainside with a multimeter and that little sensor in your lap. So there it is. I hope it helps.